Hi, my name's Wei, and I'm going to be talking a lot about singing and being a transmasculine person on the fluid spectrum, and singing and a lot more singing. um, I want to first give you a little bit of context. Um, I came out when I was about 42. And I went on T about a year later, and this is pretty much me sharing what worked, what didn't work for me on T, in order to, I hope, give those who might be going on testosterone for gender affirming purposes um, some information, possibly relatable information, hopefully useful information. To help you either decide or continue, or to somehow, I don't want to say save your voice, because, it's not like it's wrecked. But yeah, I'm gonna just talk a lot about singing and going on T and being on T while singing and singing with T. And, well, you get the idea. Um, so, the very first thing I want to say is a lot of us want to keep our high notes. A lot of us want to keep, speaking of singing voices, I'm recovering from like a 1 month. I'm immunocompromised, so been sick for like a month with COVID, so I'm still recovering. So I won't talk too much, but I will make a lot of these videos. I'm planning to. I've waited nearly 3 years to make these videos because I wanted to come on to the videos knowing that I am stable in terms of the dosage of my tea, to share with you what actually has been helpful to me. One of the biggest, I think, things for me, in order to continue singing, one of my biggest challenges is actually finding information. And there are a little bit of information if you look hard enough, but I think we deserve a lot more than just the bare minimum or sub bare minimum information and research to do with our voices. But hopefully you'll find some of these videos useful. So I went into my first appointment saying to my doctor basically that I'm willing to part with maybe like 5 notes up the top. What you've got to know first and foremost is that when you go on T as a transmasculine person, as a trans man, as a non-binary person, as a gender fluid person, as an AFAB person, or PFAB person, or however you want to use labels for yourself, when you go on to testosterone and you're not, you don't have the assigned sex of being male at birth, or you're not already testosterone dominant, what you've got to know is that when you lose notes up the top, as in at the top of your range, it also affects all of your notes all the way from your falsetto down to your belting range. Now, if you're a contemporary singer like me and you love singing belty songs, big belty songs, like you love singing Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey and Aretha Franklin and all those sorts of belty songs, your register where your break used to be will also shift. So your high range falsetto will, it's different for everyone, okay? So Your falsetto will shift downwards, most likely. You may or may not gain more depth at the bottom, but your chesty voice, as in the chest voice, that kind of, we call it the chest voice, but it's one voice, right? So your chest voice, that you sort of speaking voice, let's just call it the speaking voice. The speaking voice level of your chest voice versus the very high falsetto voice that makes you sound like a little fairy princess. They will all change. So it's not just that if you could sing, like I used to be able to have a range, absolute range, you know, give or take on a given day, absolute range from G2 to about G6 is the absolute highest and lowest I could ever reach, ever, and sometimes not even that. I lost about, let's just say like 4 notes, right? So I went into my doctor's and I wrote this very long page of letter and I read it out and I said, look, I want to go on T, I'm transmasc, passing's not important to me, I don't really care about passing, but I want to affirm my gender, I want to live as myself, as my true self, and hopefully, maybe, get a little bit of the health benefits that comes with it. And so I said to the doctor, but singing is everything to me. And if you can resonate, this is especially for serious singers, for professional singers, for singers who have been what I would like to maybe term established singers. Your voice doesn't actually mature, your singing voice doesn't mature until you're about 28, sometimes even later. So this is for singers who's been training for like 10, 20, 30, 40 years before you go on T. So I said to the doctor, I'm not willing to actually part with more than like half an octave. You know, so no more than half an octave, and then I'm gonna just like either stop T or I'm gonna dial it back. I don't know what. So I've been saving my videos for now, and I'm really excited. It's probably why I'm so excited making these videos, because I've been waiting for like nearly 3 years. Is that I have lost probably 4 or 5 notes from the top, but the rest of my range, the passaggio, especially the main break, especially if you are a belter, between your chest voice and your head mix or your chest head mix, somewhere along those middle bits where your break is, that will shift, and you will have to learn how to sing over, you will have to relearn how to sing over that break. It's not that you've lost your voice forever, it's that you have to retrain yourself to actually relearn how to sing, basically. I know that sounds really scary, especially if you've been singing as long as I have, which is about 30 years, and that's since professional lessons onwards. Before that, you know, I mean, if you count when I started making noise and singing, like, for fun, you could say that I started singing when I was 3. So, you know, it's been like 43 years I've been singing. My biggest lesson in all of this, and if you want to take notes in your diary, I hope you do, is that apart from radically accepting the parts of yourself, whatever that might be, only you know, that you can't tolerate changed, that you cannot tolerate being changed, is what I'm trying to say. You have to find where your limit is. If you want to transition, your voice will change. You may or may not actually lose your whole, like, I haven't actually seen too many singers who's like just not been able to sing. They sing in a different register. The voice changes to a different tone, a different timbre, to different range, different color, even a different gender, but they can still sing. But it's that, where is your limit of how much you're willing to lose? For me, it was my 5 notes, right? It doesn't sound like much, but it changes the rest of your range. And so I'm gonna possibly leave this particular video here, and I'll just kind of make these as I go. And you'll probably hear me sort of talking in different registers, according to the day, really. So I will start reading off of my pre-written little notebook, because I've just got so much that I wanted to share with you in terms of the singing voice, and there is so much that you need to know, and I think it's a really, really important thing to know. Not only that, if you do lose range up the top, yes, you may or may not gain range down the bottom, but the rest of your entire range will shift. You will have to relearn how to sing again, but you won't be starting from scratch, okay? So it's not going to take you another 30 years, hopefully, to learn how to sing again. But you can still sing. But it's a very different way of singing. It's a very, very different way, and you have to figure out what it is for yourself that you're willing to let go of and accept. Not happily, but just really radically accept what you're willing to part with, and radically accept what you're willing to keep in order to live your full, authentic, and happiest life. And all of this, whether you're a trans man, whether you're a transmasculine person, whether you're a gender fluid person, whether you're a non-binary person, or whether, even if you are a cis male, even if you are a cis man, you will, according to the patriarchy, according to the toxic version of masculinity, not true masculinity, but according to a false masculinity ideology, you will never be man enough. You've got to know that. You've got to know that is not real. That like being man enough is not real. Okay? How you want to present yourself, how you want to express your gender, that's going to be personal. That's going to be your journey on how to figure that out. But if you're always chasing, am I man enough? Am I man enough? When would be a point that I will be man enough? Not a human on earth can be man enough, right? So that is a concept. It's not reality. So if you knew that, then what are you willing to accept? What are you willing to let go? And for me, I had to find that out like many people, I had to find that out along the journey. But I do wish that I had a plan. I wish I had a better plan. And I wish that I had more. I really do wish I had more information about things. So, spontaneously making this video, because I don't think I just can't hold it in anymore. It's just like 2.5 years. So yeah, I hope that you're safe and that you're well, and wherever you are in the world, just know that you are enough. Trans people do not have to medically transition. Trans people can medically transition as far as we want. We cannot transition. It doesn't change who you are on the inside. Okay, and if you have, a masculine presentation and you sound more feminine, that's okay. That's acceptable. That's beautiful. And if you're a feminine presenting person and you sound masculine, that is beautiful. That is okay. That's acceptable. I feel like when we separate the masculine and the feminine in distinct splits, that is so black and white, it's so harmful. Tenors and baritones and sometimes basses can sing high, and they can sing breathy, and they can sing feminine. Sopranos and mezzo-sopranos and sometimes even coloraturas can sing in a masculine way, or they can present in a masculine way. What is, I think as a whole, radical acceptance, right, of exactly the way that we want to transition, but also having some sort of a framework of how we're going to get there safely for us, but also just, especially for, non-binary folks and gender fluid folks. This is a really, really permanent thing, to change your voice on T. And I will end the video by saying, oh wow, it's getting a bit long. Okay, so I'll end the video by saying that the most important thing that you've really got to remember is that no matter if you're on T or you're not on T or everything in between, what is something that you cannot live without? Because sometimes, and I think it's not talked about enough for singers, is that some singers, like myself, my singing identity is more important than my gender. If I can no longer sing to my fullest capacity at my best, I would rather not transition at all. If I had to pick one or the other. Luckily for me, there is a happy medium, and luckily for you, or for most humans, there is a happy medium. But you've really got to figure that out of whether or not transitioning or not transitioning will let you access that part of you that is more or less important than your gender. For example, your singing. You've got to really remember that your singing voice is also a part of you, whether or not it's classified as masculine or feminine. And also that even though everything will change, there is hope for you to actually sound like yourself, more like yourself in the end. And I will promise you that a lot of the voice trouble, like losing range, okay, that part maybe not, but losing range even sometimes is temporary. But we are talking about within reason, right? Testosterone will lower your range in most cases, but the thing is, losing range, losing brightness, losing timbre. I can't say that word without like making it sound French. Losing timbre, losing timbre, losing brightness, losing tone, losing that bright, projection, projection sort of quality, losing the quality of your voice losing all of those things, having it break and crack. I really hate that word, but having it, having trouble going over the bridge of your brakes and stuff like that. All of those things are temporary, and they happen in the first couple of years when you transition. And it kind of, there's a couple of points within those first couple of years where your range and tone and especially brightness and projection will reduce. Don't freak out, because after about like 6 months, 9 months, and after about a year's time, it will stabilize. And then after that, you'll have like another wave, another 2 waves, maybe another 3 or 4 waves of dropping, of deepening, or of having your chest voice develop fuller. For some of you, you're just like, yes, that's what I want. For some of you, it means that you might lose the ability to belt in a chest mix. It might mean that you might lose that chest mix sound that you know so well. And you will have to shift and relearn how to belt in a head voice. Not purely falsetto, not because that's, so in a head mix. So you will have to learn how to head mix and bridge that passaggio area in your vocal range in a way that bridges between your chest voice, the passaggio, and then a head mix. Whereas before you may be able to push your chest up there, now you may not be able to push your chest up there. You might actually have to bring the head down, head mix down. So I'm going to make another video because this is like 20 minutes long, 22 minutes long now. But yeah, take care. Have a think about all I've said. Take notes if you want to. I'm going to make a heck of a lot more videos on singing on T. So I don't know what the best... Oh, maybe that's better. That's like a good lighting. Okay. I'll remember for next time. Okay. Yeah, I keep putting it off, but yeah. Oh, there's a wolf right up there. Okay. Okay, bye. See you next time.